bit of fun this morning over here, just to change the schedule for the weather. What's the kind of...
We change it up now and again, obviously, just whenever you come indoors, usually in the middle of the season, just a little bit of sharpness, get the voice up, get a bit of fun and enjoyment, which, obviously the boys are pretty happy with the weekend, but just to keep that going as long as we can.
Nice. Is there much focus on anything today, or is it just kind of working on skills more?
More skills today, just touch, get the ball in your hands as many times as you can. Each individual will be working on one or two areas that they want to get better at, and obviously one or two areas which they excel at, just to make sure we keep their weapons as being a weapon, basically. But from a collective, from a team point of view, we just sat down in lines and had our line meetings here and went through what happened on the weekend.
Any big kids that ride at home out here? Who fits in here?
There's a lot of big kids out here. There's probably about 40 that come to mind. That is one of those events, I guarantee if there's no footies, they'll be going down these slides behind or trying to rock climb without being clipped in, I guarantee you.
Scott, what was the most pleasing aspect of the way you were able to get over the line on Saturday?
I think the consistency of effort. Like even the week before against West Coast, it was a pretty solid game going over there, just probably 10 or 12 minutes where they got on top of us. And then coming back to here knowing that Melbourne obviously been in very, very good form to compete for the 4 quarters, and then also show that little bit of resilience at times when they might have got 1 or 2 ahead of us to come back and level the scores. We did that early in the game and obviously did that at the end.
How quickly does attention turn to Richmond?
Probably an hour after the game, really, as coaches. But no, we certainly enjoyed the night. We've got to make the most of the little wins we have along the way, and like we've seen, there's been a lot of players signing. There's a really good culture here. People want to be around each other, so we certainly got together Saturday night, but at the same time, coaches are pretty much into Richmond straight away.
You think that was deliberate, Bert? I think Nick Murray one deliberate?
Look, it's really hollow for Melbourne supporters, isn't it? And it's irrelevant to us. There's so many decisions that are made in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Some go your way, some don't.
I was going to say, do you think that even announcing that sort of thing, is it relevant?
I think the AFL got an obligation to try and be as consistent as they can with their messaging, so we understand the game.
Yeah. COVID situation's changing a little bit in Melbourne. How many preparations are you preparing as normal, or how does it sit back in line with going?
Yeah, we prepare as normal. We're not sure what will happen from here. Probably the 2 things would be flying out game day if we have to go, or we stay here and they come here. But the AFL makes the decisions on that. We just follow. I'll keep going back to last year. If we have to do it 1 or 2 times this year, we're more than happy to do that after what happened last year.
I'm sure they'll have an extra game in Adelaide if that was to happen, hosting Richmond rather than travelling.
I reckon a few boys are pretty keen to play at the G, actually. We've got a lot of blokes that haven't played at the MCG. You've got Richmond, 2 or 3 premiership stars coming back into that side by the looks of it as well. So they're going to be hungry, they're going to be desperate. So I think it's a good challenge to go to the G. So if I had a preference, playing wise, I'd love to go to the G to play Richmond. For our supporters though, play here and get a crowd here.
Dixon mentioned that might need to be managed later in the year. It's probably taking a little bit too much load. But on the weekend rivals up the ground, Phil thought these look pretty good at the ground. How did you kind of assess the rucking balance throughout the weekend?
I think it worked pretty well. I mean, Rob's had a couple of big weeks in terms of you're not going to get 2 better ruckmen in Natalie and Gawn. So we're mindful. I think every club's mindful if they've only really got the one designated ruck that things can take its toll at times. But Riley was pretty impressive when he went into the centre bounce and some of his follow-up stuff. He certainly got a few centre bounce clearances for us that propelled us forward. And I thought Rob's last quarter was pretty solid and pretty important as well. So it seemed to work on the weekend.
Is there a hesitance to enjoy football up in the ruck when he's so young, only played a few games, still developing his body? Is there a hesitance or a reluctance to spend too much time in the ruck?
Yeah, we want to see a fair bit of him up forward, and obviously Rob's our number 1 ruck, so it's only pinch hitting now and again. On the weekend we didn't have Billy or Eric as well, so there was 2 bigger blokes that have rucked in the past that weren't there. But at the same time we could easily throw Tex in the ruck if we needed to. You get Rob take the ruck in the centre bounce, and Tex could come up around the ground, but it's a bit horses for courses, and it's a bit how the boys are going in the game.
Were you happy with the way your backline set up with another key defender down there, letting sort of Tommy Dudo play that third a bit more than the second?
Yeah, it worked well at times, and other times maybe not quite as good. Their ground level players are pretty important to them. Melbourne, even though the big fellas have done pretty well. So we're still trying to find that balancing act a little bit. We've had Jake Kelly play on tools this year, and he's played very well on tools. So it's not just Tommy. It's probably a different role for Jake this time as well if we play the two designated tools.
It looks like Tom plays well. It's easy to say, but he looks like he's his most effective. I'm sure you have different stats on the top when he's playing as the third and he can drift over. Is that how you guys see it, or do you still think that he is someone that can compete and combat the second tall, the big tall from the opposition?
Yeah, well, you can't come over and support unless you're getting really good pressure up the field as well. So with Tommy, with our defenders, we want to defend. First of all, we've got to make sure we get our job done as defenders. And then if we get enough pressure, if we can create enough delay, then yeah, we can absolutely come and support, no matter who that is. Whether it's Tommy or whether it's a smaller bloke like a Smithy or Brownie that needs to come across. But on the weekend, especially later in the game, I thought it was really beneficial for Tommy to read it at times and come across. And he might have taken 1 or 2 marks, but there was 2 or 3 really influential and important spoils.
But that's not a thing that you think applies every week. It's more obviously
not every week. I mean, we weren't up to about getting games into players as well. We want to see Nick Murray come in and play football. On the weekend, we had two pretty good young defenders who have played nearly AFL all year, and Will Hamill and McPherson go back and play some really good football there. So, and we still want to give opportunities to Casey and Worrell as well, who haven't come in. So we'll change up throughout the rest of the year and give players opportunities, and hopefully when they come in they go well and get a good run at it.
How happy have you been with Chase's addition to your line back there?
Yeah, Chase has been fantastic. To go back and play, I think it was only 3 SNFL games on a half-back flank, come in and play his role as well as some of the senior players has been a credit to him, but also to the development coaches underneath. You've got Marco Bello heading that up, but also Riley, who's the assistant defender, who's helping out the SNFL, has been fantastic with Chase, and Mickey Godden's been great support as well. So I'm sure those boys coming up really appreciate the work of the coaches in the SNFL model.
You mentioned Will Hamill, Andrew McPherson, and the untried guys at least this year. How seriously do you look at changing the lineup this week, going into Richmond after obviously knocking off the top team?
Yeah, when you've had a good performance, generally you don't change the team too much, but there's matchups. We'll have a look at what we think's best for the team each week, and coaches and clubs will talk about squad mentality, and sometimes players love it, sometimes they don't, depending on if they're in or out. But we'll have a look each week and decide which is our best team we think to win the game, and also our best team to play that will help us down the track.
Scott, you mentioned Tom Nuday. What sort of impact does he have on the group from just a standard and a culture point of view as sort of the leader of the defence?
Yeah, he's important, but I wouldn't put Tommy ahead of Smithy or Brownie as well. I think the 3 of them have been excellent. Jake Kelly, in terms of the roles that he has to play each week, has been fantastic as well. So I think it's a collective. Obviously, Tommy's, to be a captain when our main captain's out at only 23 or 24 and 40 games of experience it just shows you how he's held and what regard he's held at the footy club by players and staff. He's a ripper, Tommy. Competitiveness and his effort and voicing instructions, things you don't see. You only see us for 2 hours, but there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes in terms of supporting his defenders in watching vision, and even here today you might have seen him 1v1 with a couple of the younger fellas, just helping them out as well. But I think I'm pretty lucky coaching the defence when you've got 3 or 4 pretty strong leaders.
And just going back to the COVID sort of situation, when do you expect any clarity? It might not be one for you, but is there a time where you'll get told this game's definitely going ahead at the G, or how that works?
I have no idea. No, I mean we've been lucky, haven't we, this year? I think it's only happened at Freo, is that right? Yeah. So wait and see when that decision's made.
Yep.
Just on Richmond, is there any extra motivation to beat them? I mean, the grand final seems like a long time ago now, 2017. Is there still a feeling of wanting to get one back on them, or is that kind of dissipated a little bit with a new group, new coaching staff, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I reckon when you said extra motivation, I'm trying to think, what are you talking about over the last 12 months? To me, as soon as you mentioned 17, I'm going, geez, it's a long time ago now. Completely irrelevant to myself, probably the newer players. There's obviously when you play in a grand final and you lose a couple or you lose one that you think about the past maybe a little bit, but it's so irrelevant where we're heading. It's about, we've had one good performance and we've probably had a couple of good performances at home. Away we've been not quite as great. We'd love to improve on that, and we know Richmond at the moment, they're just outside the 8, hungry. Like I said earlier, they've got some quality players coming back in this week, so that's enough motivation for us to make sure we put our best foot forward.